Pisces. Hi, welcome to your live astrology read. We're going to be looking at your astrology for the last day in July, moving into August. Got a lot of things going on. We got Mercury retrograde, we got a Saturn Mars opposition coming up, we got Jupiter and Venus connecting. So let's take a look. I believe that's your fifth house they'll be connecting in. Yep. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to connect the astrology chart here in a second. If you're new to the channel and you like the read at the end, go ahead and give me a subscribe. I'm sorry that everything is just kind of like makeshift. My light's makeshift. My laptop's jiggly. I got gear, but I'm remodeling the house. So it's going to be a while before I get back on my feet here with the YouTube and the quality that I used to have. But for now, this will do. And I felt when that Leo new moon hit this month, I felt now's the time to get out there and do this again, come back to it. So let's go ahead and look at the charts here for you, Pisces. Give me a second. Okay. Here we are, Pisces. July 31st, last day in July. Mars is about to leave your seventh house of relationships where you had the South Node. So things have been kind of shaky with relationships or non-existent, or maybe there's been fallouts with relationships I'm talking about current relationships that have been solidified, meaning your partner. We're about to get an opposition in your eighth and second house of finances with Saturn. So when it comes to your finances, are you ready? I've been talking about the last two signs, Cap and Aquarius. When it comes to finances, are you ready? Are you prepared for a financial disaster? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, are you ready for it? Can you pay 3 months worth of bills and living expenses if something were to happen right now? If not, I would figure that out. I would have figured that out at least the beginning of the year, but I wasn't here to tell you that. At least for the other signs, I can kind of get to them quickly and tell them now. But for you, yeah, it is a little too late. I'd figure something out when it comes to finances or use it in a positive way, right? So maybe you got to figure out a way to cut spending now. Maybe you got to figure out a way to, what I've been talking about the other signs was instead of having money just sit in a savings, collecting dust, losing its value, stick it in a high yield savings, damn it. As well as the Mercury retrograde in the sixth house of health, small time enemies. I hate using the enemy thing because you got some people that just never go out, so you can never have an enemy. But maybe with Sun there and Mercury, if you're dealing with difficult people, I think you'll have some relief in this area. When it comes around after August 11th and it starts moving back towards the sun, I do feel like you'll have relief there. If you're dealing with difficult people in your life, especially at work, in your place of work. Saturn in your second house of finances doesn't mean your finances are doomed, especially if you're a nighttime baby. Does not mean you are doomed and gloom. It does, however, mean that you got to figure out ways to make finances, and there might be times where Saturn says no moving forward, shutting a door, and you're going to have to figure out a way around the door, right? So, maybe I'm not wrong for telling you, hey, figure out a way to make some income on the side without doing much. Start investing into ETF holders, or I personally like S&P 500 because it's the easy 10% back on my money, and it compounds, baby. I love the word compound. And it's a long-term investment. So when you have things with long-term investment, Saturn is a planet that it's freaking far away. It's a long-term planet, and it takes 3 years for it to travel 2.5 to go through one house. So yeah, definitely with Saturn there, it's asking you, hey, let's think about long term. Let's think about the finances, how it's going to develop for us, right? And you got to think about Saturn denying things in the second, and then it's in the third, and then it's in the fourth. So start thinking about, if you're thinking about property, get a 9 year head start on getting property. I had an 8 year head start. Look at me now. I don't regret it, doing what I did with my money. Some people called me an idiot, said it was risky. Okay, sure. Um, I know it's long term, and I know that what I got to do is what I got to do. And yeah, as far as partnerships, if things are kind of crashing and burning for you, I do feel it's a time to get a little sassy there with Mars in your seventh and the South Node. Maybe it's also something about not expressing things or being unable to say things instead of saying them like haughtily. And be like, blah, 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 because you did this and that. Man, this cat hair has been bothering me in the mic. I always see it in the corner of my eye when I'm looking at the screen. Oh, it came out. And anyways, let's talk about the good stuff though. Let's talk about your first lord conjuncting in the fifth house of children with Venus. Well, I don't know if some of you are planning. This isn't Planned Parenthood. I'm delivering the astrology, but I am not a Planned Parenthood clinic. But if you're a fertile myrtle, I'd watch out for that. Wrap it if you're a dude, or if your dude's not wrapping it and you're fertile myrtle and you don't want kids, be careful, because your eighth lord is the eighth lord is hidden, right? The eighth is always hiding something. So Venus, she is bringing you blessings, hidden blessings coming into your fifth house of children with Jupiter, which is expansion. So if you're a Pisces rising, and yeah, I'd say definitely a bus in time if you want to get prego. I know some Pisces risings. If you want to get pregnant, sure, this is the time. It's a good time, especially on the 20th. If you want to elect, just kidding, no, the 20th, because you have moon there. I'm going to pull tarot cards just for the overall vibe for the Pisces. And I'm sorry that it took a serious twist at the beginning with finances, but I am no longer delivering just love-centric tarot because it's boring. And I like talking about money, fitness, health. Speaking of health, by the way, if you go back to an old fitness routine, it could definitely give you some results physically. If you're trying to show off that body for the summer or for next summer, now's the time to do that for sure. Okay. Overall vibe for the Pisces, the general energy, the composer. Yeah, that's right. You're composing things, definitely. With the fifth and the eighth house, your first lord and your eighth house lord in the fifth house conjoining here, it's definitely time to start figuring out how you're going to compose these manifestations. Now, it's not like I'm going to manifest something and get it. This is more like, let me figure out long term how to manifest these things so they kind of show up and all the beautiful things show up in the Pisces' life. This is a water card, which I love. It is the lilies, and it's Neptune. It's definitely Neptunian. And I'm sorry about the focus on this camera. Like I said, I'm working with what I got just to be on YouTube, okay? And then later on, we'll get back to the nice fancy productions. But man, this is terrible. You got to compose the manifestations, kind of like you got your cello, your violin section, the piano dude, the drummer dude, the trumpets, the French horns, whatever, the clarinet. You got to compose all these things about your life, Pisces, now. Relationships, health, money, fitness. You got to compose all those things one by one in your life to manifest the good things. Because, yeah, Jupiter is at the bottom of your chart, but once we get up to the top of the chart, oh, in the next 3, 4 years, think about it. Especially if you're old enough to think back to 2001, what was going on for you in 2001? Um, maybe try to link that to what's going on now in your life and how you're going to bring those beautiful things into fruition here with this card. Is definitely the yeah, you can manifest it, but you got to put those things into action one by one in each section is what this card is telling me. And it is a Neptunian energy, so as you're doing that, compose it in your mind, you know. Now for the single Pisces, Pathfinder. I like this energy because it's kind of like a rock star energy of like, yeah, well, I may have got dumped, or is this vibe of you dumping somebody maybe? Because sometimes, a lot of times, malefics play in our houses, kind of like how we're acting, and maybe this is you dumping somebody. Seriously, this is just you saying, hey, I'm gonna find my own path. I'm gonna go my own way, which I dig. I dig it. Yeah, that's all I got for the singles. And if you're cutting somebody off, you'll make your own way for sure. They were definitely getting in your way, or they were definitely not communicating with you. Because anytime South Node 7 stuff, it separates us from things. So, maybe you're not getting what you need there, and it's time to separate from those things. This is a short transit, sure. Mars is definitely leaving there, moving into the eighth. Sure, it's almost done. We got a little bit of eclipses left, though, for you in September when it comes to relationships and yourself. Major beginnings, major endings. So maybe it is time to ditch whatever's not here, because as soon as you ditch whatever this is, boom, the next thing comes in for the relationships. And I do feel like the next card I pull has to deal with you asking the question, if I leave this, I feel like this is what you would be asking, Pisces. Like, if I leave this, will I get the relationship? And I feel like if you are a partnered up Pisces, by the way, this is your card. But I feel like if you are the single Pisces as well, this is your card too. It's the bridge. Yeah, it's the next portion of your story, and you're walking into it. It doesn't do anything if I hold a card here. I don't think you guys can see it. But I do feel the next portion of your story is playing out now, and you're definitely walking towards that. And for the coupled up Pisces rising, definitely like bridging the gap in the marriage, in the boyfriend girlfriend situation, in the story. There's definitely having to bridge that, or maybe it's the things that you're too afraid to say to this person and they feel distant. I'm not saying you have to break up, but there is a way to bridge that gap. South Node doesn't completely rip you away from relationships. In fact, it'll put relationships there for you. Maybe this is just a timeout type situation as well. Maybe it's just figuring it out. What's going to bridge the gap between the two of you? I do feel like South Node eclipses there definitely give you the answer, but not right now. Not right now. You definitely get the preview this month. You will definitely get the preview this month, but you won't get the answer till September. I feel like pulling one more card. Let's see. For those of you that want to mend something, whether you're single, you're waiting for an ex, or if you're like in a relationship now, I hate waiting for the ex if you're single. I hate that, but at the same time, I feel like I want to pull it. So let's pull it. Three of Birds. Well, this person definitely broke your heart. Um, yeah, and Pluto that's definitely been there since 2023, moving into your 12th house. I don't know if you could see that, but Pluto's retrograded now. Maybe this retrograde is time to let go of the holding on to the past and realizing that things that are unchangeable maybe should stay that way. And if you are like in a marriage or something like that, maybe it's about less about focusing on their ego and more about focusing on, is it you that has the ego? Calling your partner, I figured out the correct pronunciation is narcissist, not narcissist. It's narcissist. Leave it in the comments if I'm wrong. But I was watching a psychology thing. It's a couple months ago because I thought I was dealing with a narcissist. But whoever this is, if you're waiting on somebody to return from your past, definitely broke your heart. And I don't think they should have a free meal ticket to access the Pisces rising character, especially when you're proposing all these things in your life. I think it's definitely okay to send the past away and kind of expect the new things here. Pull one more card. Don't tell the other signs I pulled all these. Yeah, the new thing, life on Earth. New thing is looking good. I would focus on new shit and compose a new life here. When it comes to everything, your finances, your health, your fitness, you're the only sign that's got all this like a transitional, life-changing energy moving. And I do feel when Mars hits that Libra, you may feel stuck or like you don't know how to change that. Although Mars does know how to work with 8th house energy, but in Libra, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Libra is a girl sign and Mars is a boy sign, and he's in there. It's like having Ken in Barbie's house, right? Remember when Ken in the Barbie movie, he changed the house to be like the dude ranch or something like that? Maybe some of you that are waiting for some sort of signal from the universe, watch the Barbie movie and you'll get some sort of message out of there, especially if you're having a hard time letting go of the past. Anyways, Pisces, I had fun doing your read. I enjoy the Pisces rising. I keep forgetting the rising sign that I do the best with is Aries. And then in Vedic astrology, that Aries usually turns into Pisces. So I almost said it, but I haven't had a Pisces rising in my life. I had a Pisces sun when I was 18. She was a cheater. But I don't hate her. I still love her just the same. That was my wartime girlfriend when I was in war. And she had her circumstances, which I understand. And I can be mature about that. And maybe let her be a message for you. Be mature about the situation with relationships and your life in general. Do what's best for you. Even if you might have to hurt somebody in the process, that can be difficult, especially with that Mars transiting through your 7th for sure. Anyways, Pisces, I can't wait to do your reads when the eclipses come. I am going to do a special eclipse reading, so if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like this video, and leave me a comment if you like. Take it easy, guys. Good night.